Hey Puppy Trade, I wanted to do a video analysis update on stocks in the travel, leisure, and recreation sector. These stocks are going to include Boeing, Norwegian Cruise Lines, American Airlines, and Wynn Resorts. I believe that, of these setups, Boeing, Norwegian Cruise Lines are probably the best setups right now. And we're going to talk about, why generally I'm expecting the entire cruise line and airline, in the gambling sector to move higher together. And the general message of this video is that instead of asking when will the S&P 500 top, I think it's a much more prudent question to ask when will very important components and very important sectors of the S&P 500 top. So that's why we focus so much not on where SPY is going, but where Apple and Tesla are going. And in the entire theme of that, if we believe that Boeing, Norwegian Cruise Lines, American Airlines, and Wynn Resorts are going to go much higher and have a large move, then we're not going to expect that the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ will be crashing at the same time that's happening. Okay? So let's get right into these setups right here. I believe that Boeing completed an A, B, C correction during the March sell-off, and then it put in this major low in March and had an Elliott wave 1 and an Elliott wave 2, and then another wave 1 and wave 2. So in Elliott wave theory, that is called a nest. And we know that this is a nest because we have closed above the high of wave 1. We've confirmed that all of this was months of consolidation with declining volume. We've had our volume breakout, our high volume breakout. If you're a classical trader, you're going to call this a base, or some type of cup and handle. What we're also going to notice is that from this low of wave 2, we've formed a very nice bull flag. So that's an important thing to realize, is that this is a very powerful setup in Boeing right now. This is a huge breakout out of a massive base. We have a bull flag, and from a wave theory perspective, we're expecting a wave 3 of 3 in a nest. So whenever you're expecting a wave 3, the 1.618 extension of wave 1 is your maximum target for wave 3, and then we also have our very conservative target to where we know that Boeing is at the very least incomplete to the upside of 362. But I think it's more prudent to be thinking about Boeing in the 300s. We formed a really nice bull flag, and we're consolidating sideways into a really tight range. And we're going to talk about some other things that we saw about Boeing too. But first, let's get to this projection. If this low of 199 holds, then I expect by the middle of February, Boeing's going to make a move all the way up to 314. And then, the highest, I wouldn't short Boeing when it gets to 344, but 344, I'm out of the market. If I see Boeing at 344, I'll be out. If I see Boeing at, 310, I'll be out. And that's, back to the theme of this video, that if you want to know where SPY is topping, figure out where Boeing's topping, figure out where Apple's topping, figure out where Bank of America's topping, and you're going to know the answer. Okay? Another thing I really like about this setup is, like all 1-2s, we have our really nice Andrews pitchfork. So you connect the beginning of wave 1 with the high of wave 1 and the low of wave 2. Really nice reactions on the median of this pitchfork. And then because this is the wave 3, we're going to conservatively expect that at the very least, the median of this pitchfork is going to be reached. I believe the bull flag target is 314. So I project that Boeing will reach 314 by the middle of February, so long as this low of 199 holds. All right, let's get into Norwegian Cruise Lines. Very interesting setup here. But first, I want to say one thing that we also know about Boeing real quick. Last night, and a general reason that we know a huge move is coming, Boeing was on the straddle screener for bar chart 3 separate times, right? So this is a screener that scans for very cheap options in the market and stocks that have very low implied volatility and are ready for very large moves. The idea of this screener is that it is looking for stocks with options that are so low and consolidating into such tight ranges that a large move is expected, and that options are so cheap, a trader theoretically could buy a call and a put and make money just from the stock moving and implied volatility going from low to high, and thus option premiums going from low to high. So we see that Boeing appears on this 3 times. This is the straddle screener. I'm going to leave a link to the straddle screener, and we're going to talk about how we can use it at the end of this video. But just one thing to know about Boeing, we know a huge move is coming because the options market knows a huge coming. It's all over the screener. And we have our data that we've collected from the end of October that when Tesla appeared on this exact same screener 5 times, it was at 410. Okay, so we've talked about this screener before. We're never making trades entirely based on it, but it's important to realize that this screener is very useful for letting us find stocks that are ready for large moves and have very cheap options. Our technical analysis can do the rest, but I've been collecting a lot of data on this recently, and the results are in for the first 2 months, and they're pretty consistent. That if stocks in this sector, in the same sector, are showing up on this screener, a large move to the upside occurs within the next couple of weeks. Okay, and we see right now Boeing's on this screener 3 times, and United Airlines, that's an airline, Royal Caribbean is on this. So these are in the same sector, right? And this is especially useful when you see all these stocks in the same sector showing up together. Okay, so let's get back to the charts. Norwegian Cruise Lines is a very similar setup to Boeing right here. It completes a wave 1 and then a wave 2. So we have our Andrews pitchfork by connecting the beginning of wave 1 with the high of wave 1 and the low of wave 2. We have really nice reactions on the median of this pitchfork. And now we see, as soon as we got away from the pitchfork, we go back to the lower bound of this pitchfork. So that's why pitchforks are so important to us. We're forming a bull flag right here. And this is the same thing as Boeing. We're expecting that we have now closed above this high. We've confirmed that this is a completed 1-2. And our minimum, our furthest wave 3 target is 39 because it's the 1.618 extension of wave 1, and that also coincides with this bull flag target right here of 37. So I believe that in the next 6 to 8 weeks, by the middle of February, that Norwegian Cruise Lines is going to move up higher with Boeing. It's going to reach 37 to 39, provided that 21.82 holds as the low. So above 21.82, I believe that Norwegian Cruise Lines will go higher and reach 37 to 39 by the middle of February. Okay, American Airlines, I really like this setup right here. This is a bottoming play. So whenever you think about, a stock that is in the bottom right corner of the chart, you really need to think about this with, much further out time horizons than, say, a stock that's consolidating in the top right corner. Okay, that's because while bottoming plays can give you a lot more reward, they can also take a lot more time. They have these headwinds, these really strong resistance levels to get through. So this is a further out play in my opinion. But I believe we have a really nice ending diagonal on American Airlines. And then we have a wave 1, an ABC wave 2. So we connect the beginning of wave 1 with the high of wave 1 and the low of wave 2. We have our really nice Andrews pitchfork with reactions on the median, very nice reactions on the lower bound. The idea is that you buy the dip to the lower bound, and then you target the median. With our wave theory, that's going to be a wave 1, wave 2, and then for this projection, we just need it to follow and break above this high and reach the minimum equal legs target of 25. So I believe that so long as this low of 13.85 holds as the low, then American Airlines will reach the minimum wave 3 equal legs target of 25 by the middle of February. Okay, and this could happen, sooner. These time projections, I'm trying to be conservative, but this I honestly expect will all happen in January. I think that conservatively by the middle of February, we're going to see these run-ups play out, and we'll talk about why towards the end of the video. But generally, if American Airlines is above 13.85, I expect that it will take a big run to the median of this pitchfork, and it will conservatively reach 25 by the middle of February. Okay, let's look at Wynn Resorts. Now, Wynn Resorts, I'm not sure this is a good setup here, but I really wanted to add a gambling name to this so we can cover all of travel, leisure, and recreation. So Wynn Resorts has our same wave 1, our ABC with really nice reactions on the median of this pitchfork, puts in a wave 2, and now we can see it's heading for the median of this pitchfork. So when Wynn Resorts reaches the median of this pitchfork or the bull flag equal legs target, that would be a very big hint that the casino sector, the gambling sector, is generally ready for a pullback. Okay, now let's talk real quick about why we might be expecting these large moves and how we can find data on implied volatility. So let's look right here. This is our straddle screener from last night, and we're just going to notice a few things. First off, MFA and Citi are two financial companies. United Airlines and Royal Caribbean are both in the travel and leisure sector. And then we see Dave & Buster's also. So this is also a leisure play. United Airlines, RCL, and Dave & Buster's are all in the travel and leisure sector. We see Boeing is on this list twice, and then it's on it a third time at the very low, okay? Did anyone see this big Intel breakout today? Well, the options market might have been aware that a big move in Intel was coming before we were, because last night it said, hey, if you buy, options are so cheap, if you buy a 47 put and a 47 call, then you have a 69% chance of making a profit. So we're going to talk about right now how we can access this information for free. So this is barchart.com. I really love this as a free resource. What we can do is we can go to options, and then we can go to long straddle, okay? We can use long strangle as well, but this is the list for today. So I always use this at the end of the day, make sure I have closing prices. And I've collected a lot of data on this. We're gonna go over some of the results as well. But let's just look at today's scanner. We see a few things. One, McDonald's has been on this for a little bit, and we've seen, McDonald's is starting to break out. Citibank, Delta Airlines, NLY Capital Management, JP Morgan, and Bank of America, those are all very similar. Okay, Bank of America is a bank, JP Morgan's a bank, Citi is a bank, and NLY is a financial service. So, if you see that all of these stocks are in the same sector, it's a more powerful signal, right? We just talked about Wynn, Penn is on this now. Boeing's on this again, and we see Citibank is on this twice. So all these banks are showing up together. Another thing that we can do is we can go to options, long strangle. What these screeners are also going to help you do is you will never, it's going to do two things. One, you're not going to be bitten by consolidation, right? So if you're an options trader, if you're an options buyer, you are hurt by sideways consolidation. What this will specifically do is look for stocks that are done consolidating, have premiums that are eaten alive, very cheap premiums, and it's going to give you setups that are definitely, one thing's for certain, there's going to be a big move. And we know there's going to be a big move because there is options that are so cheap, you could buy a call and a put that are outside of the money and even expect that you would have a 59% chance of profiting just from the size of the move. So that means that the options have to be very cheap. This is the strangle screener for tonight. I use the strangle and the straddle screener. I especially look if you're on both, but look, NCLH is on this. We just saw Royal Caribbean was on the straddle screener. RCL and NCLH, both of these are cruise lines. Tesla making another appearance. NCLH again, Carnival Cruise Lines. So three major cruise lines are all showing up on the screener right now. Carnival Cruise Lines again, and now we see Google and Tesla, right? So we talked about Google and Tesla have consolidated for a very long time as leaders of the market. Now we're seeing that they are showing up back on the strangle screener. We might be seeing a large move coming to the upside, okay? So why are we collecting all this data? Well, because if you're a trader, you're a data scientist, okay? So I've really embraced that role, and I've made a folder of some notes. So this is a screener from October 29th. I took this picture on October 29th with my cell phone. It's a little blurry, so I'm sorry about that. But the results are incredible. Lacacia Holdings, Tesla, Boeing, Pivotal Investment Corp, Citi, and Micron are on this. And you can see right now what their current prices were. Micron was on this at 50 on 10/29. So this is the bar chart straddle screener. There's going to be a link to this in my bio. Not in my bio, in the description of this video. But remember, this is from October 29th. This is the straddle screener. All this was telling us was, hey, options are super cheap and a large move is coming. Lacacia Holdings was on this at 12.20. Tesla was on this at 5 times on October 29th, just screaming, options are cheap, a huge move is coming. This was at 410. Tesla's at 666 exactly 2 months later. So today is December 29th. We can see right now Tesla appears on this 5 times at 410. Boeing appears on this 3 times at 148. Okay, so there's going to be a link to this in the description of this video, but the results are very clear. If you're on the screener, especially if your whole sector is on the screener, a big move is coming, and from all the data that I've gathered, it's to the upside.